Distractions and difficulties in life is something each and every one of us face. We start something and we plan to complete it within a stipulated time duration, and we get distracted. We end up doing three different tasks in that particular time, and we end up not completing even one of them. And then you start a new journey, you start a new kind of routine. And then once you start that, you find a lot of difficulties on the way, and you also end up not completing the tasks. Why does this happen? This is what we call as antarayas. Antarayas means obstacles that an individual faces when they start their journey on not just the path of yoga, but once they start to live the life the way it has to be led. There are 9 different obstacles. Vyadi, Sthana, Samshaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti, Darshana, Alabdhu, Bhumikatva, Anavasthitatva. If you didn't catch that, don't worry about it. I'll explain it in very, very simple words. The first obstacle or distraction that you have, even to this particular day, is the first one is Vyadi. You fall sick. Imagine you start some new habit, you start a new routine with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of vigor and fire within you. And then because of the factors that you can't control, which is because of the external environment, nature, or because of a flu or whatever, you fall sick. And result of that, what happens? There's a break. Imagine how many times you would have started a yoga practice or wanting to go to a gym. How many times you have started if you're in your 20s or your 30s. Probably in each year you would have started and stopped at least like 3 to 4 times. That's not bad. What I'm trying to tell is it's quite natural. When you fall sick, getting out of the path and then losing focus is quite natural. It happens to everyone even to this particular day. You have to accept this fact, make peace with oneself, and make sure you give a command from here. Okay, irrespective of whatever happens, I'm going to keep pushing myself. I fall sick, I make sure I heal myself, and then again I start again. This should be your approach. So this is the first obstacle, Vyadi, falling sick. Second one, Sthana. What is the meaning of the word Sthana? Sthana is what stands as lack of mental strength. Most of the time, you have this strength to start something being driven by seeing or hearing a motivational talk or a motivational video, but you don't have the mental strength to continue it for a prolonged duration. This is where most of the habits fall back. Then you start to consider, okay, there's something wrong in me itself, psychosomatically and mentally, that I'm disturbed. And then you start to name tag yourself. You lack mental strength because you're starting that particular task for the first time. I mean, imagine you didn't start to read an entire book when you were in the first grade, right? You start with alphabets, you start with paragraphs, then you start with short stories. And in the span of 15 years, you went on to read a novel which is probably this thick. You didn't read a novel this thick in the very first grade. The same way, habits doesn't happen overnight. Mental strength that you get through the habits takes time. If you say, okay, I'm going to have all the mental strength to do to continue my gym subscription for 1 year and take it from the 1st of Jan, you'll probably stop or drop out after 10 days. So Sthana, mental strength, is not something you reach in 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 months. It takes consistent practice. Imagine how you are programmed to this particular day to have 3 meals a day at regular intervals, or if not irregular intervals. This didn't happen overnight, right? Your parents forcefully fed you when you were like 2-year-old, 3-year-old, or 4-year-old. They made you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And for that to become a habit, it took quite some time. 10 years of proper schooling, and then you have a proper eating habit, sleeping habit. And then after that, +2 you complete, and then everything is gone for a toss. You're fit and fine, everything is going well until you are in a discipline mode here. Once this is lost, the discipline here is lost, you lose control of everything. So lack of mental discipline is not something that you can overcome in a couple of months, is not something you can develop within a few months. And if you don't have the mental strength to pursue something, the only way for you to get that mental strength is by pursuing it, not by letting go of it. This is the second difficulty or second obstacle that you experience once you start anything, any habit, or even yoga for that matter. Now the third one, samshaya, doubt. Doubt is something that eats you up and shits you out. You start something new, you start doubting every single step. You meet a person, you start doubting them. you start doubting every single move of theirs. You doubt yourself, you doubt the people around you, you doubt the people surrounded by you, you doubt your office people, you start doubting the world. This doubt, this confusion that you have with respect to your own self results in you doubting everything that is there in the outside world. You meet a person, you meet a great teacher, you start learning from them. It's helping you immensely. You're growing to a whole new level. You're getting new kinds of perspective, a new wave of energy that is there in you. And yet you start doubting that person. Okay, is this person even authentic? Good things are happening to you. If you keep finding flaws in people, you'll never grow. You have to go reach out to them, get what you want, and get out of there. If you keep finding flaws, you keep finding flaws till you're gonna die. You're gonna die with burden of doubt in you. And once you start doubting, you'll never grow. This is the third one. Yadis Dhyana Samshaya. Fourth one. Pramada. The best way I can experience pramada is, see, you have to develop indifference towards things. The best way to put it across is, you're not sensible enough. Indifference, you start seeing difference in each and every person. You start seeing difference in things, situations. Seeing difference in individuals, seeing difference in people becomes a way of life for you. You have to develop a universal approach to life. If you do not develop a universal approach to life, you start seeing difference in each and everything that exists in the world, you'll go mad. Try to develop this universal approach to life and see how the magic will flow. The fifth obstacle that you face is alasya, laziness. I don't think I'll have to give any example with respect to this. Laziness has killed more people in the world than war ever has. This is probably one of the lines that I use quite often these days, especially if you're watching this in 2023, 2024, whenever. Laziness kills you not just physically, mentally, psychologically, psychosomatically, intellectually. You're dead. If you let yourself to be lazy, you are a person who is physically alive but dead to the entire world. And definitely mentally also. Never ever let alasya, laziness take over you. You may eat 3 times a day, you may wear clothes, you may look yourself in the mirror and feel like, okay, you have a body, you have a face, you have functioning senses, but you're dead. You have to let go of this laziness. Imagine how many times you let go of the habits that you've started, the routines that you've started, the resolutions that you have started. You have broken countless resolutions because you were lazy on that side. Yadis Dhyana Samshaya Pramada Alasya. Then comes the sixth one, Avirati. What is the meaning of Avirati? Once you start your experience with the outside world, a lot of desires in you spring up or sprout because of you getting involved in the sensory objects. You see something beautiful, first thing, instead of appreciating it, you try to grab hold of it. That's probably the sickest thing that people do this into this particular day. Learn to appreciate things as they are. If it's meant for you, it will come to you. You have zero patience. There is no sense of gratitude in you at all. The moment you see something drives your sight, smell, touch, you want to grab hold of it. I don't even want to give an example for this. If you're smiling listening to this, you definitely know what exactly I'm talking about. Try to not become a slave of sensory desires. I'm not saying even I have reached there. No, I haven't. I've made peace with it. When it's there, it's there. When it's not there, it's not there. That's it. You can't be driven by senses and be addicted to the pleasures. Again, you'll think, okay, has this guy adopted this? Yeah, to a certain extent. About 97%. There's still 3% left in me. Hopefully that'll be gone soon. The moment you stop deriving the pleasures of life from the sensory objects that exist in the outside world, find out how peaceful you are on the inside. It takes quite some time to achieve over there, but you'll eventually reach over there. If not, this obstacle of finding pleasure and desire through the sensory objects, if this becomes a way of life for you, you're dead. You're dead. You will definitely look yourself in the mirror, but you'll never be the same person who you are meant to be. If you want to see beyond the mirror, like you do this every single day, right? Every single day you wake up, you look at the goddamn mirror and see what's going on in your face. But have you ever wondered what lies beyond the image that is reflected on the mirror? If you're someone who hasn't noticed this, start paying attention to it. There is someone who is beyond the reflection that is appearing in the mirror. What that is, that you have to find out. Else, you will be stuck probably getting hundreds of facials done, hundreds of cosmetic surgeries done on the face. But inside, yeah, you're dead as shit. As simple as that. This may be hard, but there's no other polished way of putting this across. You have to accept the reality of what is what. I can't change the facts and truths just to please you. If this perspective comes in you, a lot of things changes. The way you see things, the way you see yourself, and the way you see people around you changes. And once this changes, a new wave of energy comes in you, which is very, very important. If not, this will be the biggest obstacle for you. The seventh one is what we call as Bhranti Darshana. false knowledge, or you have this habit of leading an illusionary life. Nothing exists, yet you keep on having this thought. You are someone who believes in false knowledge, invalid knowledge, and your life is driven by this. You yourself have no goddamn brain working inside you. You have least intellectual capacity. If you fall into this category, you have to make sure the person from whom you get some worthy advice, from some practical advice, must be knowledgeable enough. If you are yourself are dumb here and then you go seeking advice from another dumb person, I don't even have to tell you where this is going to lead, right? Seek validity from the people who have gained clarity in life. If not, you'll definitely probably be ending up asking for suggestions and reviews and life advices from people who have absolutely no clue what they themselves are doing in life. Having a family, having a kid, having a good paying job doesn't mean they're knowledgeable enough to guide you. I've met people who earn in crores, probably are totally dumb on the inside and have absolutely no idea what's going on here. So if that is you, like, you have to think about it. Okay, am I going to the right person to take the advice? And if not, who is the right person? Do not seek validity through invalid knowledge. Go and search for the right ones. If not, you'll always be in this illusionary state. Bhranti Darshana. The eighth one is Alabdhu Bhumikatva. What is the meaning of Alabdhu Bhumikatva? You start something, continuing the same thing is very, very essential. You start, you stop, you start, you stop. You can't keep doing this till you die, right? One particular day it has to end. When you start a process and you concentrate and start to do things, you have to see the reality that comes out of it. If you just keep on pursuing it and you never see the reality of what comes out of it, then you will never be grounded. The whole purpose of all the knowledge you seek is completeness. If this completeness is not coming from for you with respect to whatever you're doing, and everything on the inside of you is dying, what's the whole point in having 20 plus years of education if you can get a skill for 6 months and then probably earn 10 times more whatever you guys are earning right now? If you fail to maintain the continuity, you miss out on seeing the reality. This is the hard truth. If you want to see the reality of what is what, with respect to anything for that matter, continuity is the key. You have to push yourself to an extent where reality dawns. If you just push yourself 1 or 2 days and be like, I'm tired, I'm done with it, you will probably end up being just one among the billion people. That shouldn't be the goal. You push, you excel, you grow, and then you're free. Like, you push yourself 2-3 days and like 4-5 days, and then you tell, okay, I have an immense clarity with respect to anything. Nah, that's not how it works. And the ninth one, Anavastha Tattva. What happens when you do all these things? See, when you don't have control over your mind, you're weak, like, you lose control of everything, you become delusional, you will become, and you'll have this complete, what can I say? You lose control of yourself. And ultimately, once this happens, what exactly happens is you can't concentrate on things. The inability to concentrate on the things, it becomes so predominant in you. Once this prolongs for longer duration, it's like ultimate distraction. And once this distractions prolongs for a longer duration, it continues for like few months or years, the mind is shattered into pieces. Anavasti Tattva is the inability to hold on to a particular thought. So once you continue to prolong, you continue to work on a few months or a few years on a particular thought, and you continue this journey, you can't take breaks in between. If you're a kind of person who can't hold on to a particular thought for a longer duration, and once this breaks up into pieces every now and then, the mind gets distracted. And once this distraction prolongs for a longer duration, the mind scatters into pieces. If you feel like, okay, you're someone who has this very weak mind, because of which you feel like, okay, the mind is scattered all the time, and if you're searching for the core reason as to why this is happening, it's as simple as this: you never hold on to one particular thing. And when you do not hold on to one particular thing, naturally the distraction becomes a part and parcel of every single activity that you do. And once the distraction continues for a prolonged duration over a few months, the mind is scattered into pieces. These are the main 9 obstacles. And along with this, if this is something you experience every single week, every single month, every single year, and if all these obstacles is something you're experiencing every single day, how is it even possible to live a peaceful life? And along with this pain, this sorrow, and it's This pain and sorrow continues for every single day. Why? Because firstly, you don't have physical control. You're falling sick every now and then. There's like a lot of laziness that comes out of it. There's lack of motivation. There's lack of control. When all of this prolongs for a longer duration, definitely pain and sorrow becomes a way of life. And once the pain and sorrow becomes a way of life, suffering becomes your best friend, to be honest. I'm not saying this because I want to demotivate you, but this is how you'll start to design your life, and this is how things will start to manifest. If you don't want pain and sorrow to inflict you, you have to make sure you put in effort every single day. Perseverance has to become a way of life. If not, unsteady body, unsteady mind results in ultimate destruction. And this is what in the text of yoga we call as death. And more on that I'll share in the next subsequent ones. If you found this useful, do let me know how you felt in the comments below. If there's anything you wish to write to me about in detail, you can find my email ID in the description. If you really like this, don't forget to share this with the person who's in real need of this, or you can change another person's life in a click of a button. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.